Residents of the West Bank launched a general strike, closing their shops and other businesses after Israeli troops raided a refugee camp in the territory. The Palestinian Red Crescent said at least 14 people were killed and dozens injured. Israel says it targeted militants during a counter-terrorism operation.
Israel's military raids the Nur Shams refugee camp in the northern part of the West Bank. The aftermath: many killed and injured, roads bulldozed, and homes destroyed.
My son was sleeping there. He had gone to wash himself, then he prayed and went home. His home is higher up. There was a sniper in front of him who shot him. I heard the sound of the shooting. My other son went up there and found he was bleeding. He bled to death. Look at his blood.
Palestinians describe the Israeli raid as unprecedented.
There is indeed complete destruction of homes, shops, the electricity grid, the sewage, the water network and the infrastructure. This incursion is unprecedented. There are snipers on rooftops, death squads and special forces deployed. It's indeed a real war.
The Israeli military says it killed militants during the raid. The army also says it has found and destroyed explosives and seized many weapons used in what it calls terrorist activities. Following the Israeli raid, Palestinian residents launched a general strike. Shops, universities, banks, and the public transportation were all closed to protest the Israeli raid on the refugee camp.
Balig Sladeen is a journalist based in Tel Aviv, and he told me more about the high tensions and the purpose of the IDF's raid in the West Bank.
Well, we are 4 days into this last raid in Nur Shams camp in Tulkarem, and apparently the security forces didn't conclude the operation yet. Today, the Palestinians said that the Israeli soldiers retreated and left what they call a siege on the camp, showing the damage that we've seen also in the reports. Some residents in the West Bank, including ones that I talked to, claimed that the main target of the raid, the commander of the Tulkarem battalion, his name is Abu Shuja', is still alive, actually, contrary to what the Shin Bet, the Israeli intelligence, has said. They're showing videos of him, photos of him, but it's not clear when those photos and videos were actually taken. If that turns out to be true, we will definitely see more raids in the camp in the near future, because Israel vowed to deal with all the armed groups in the West Bank. Just to make it clear, since the beginning of the war, we've witnessed 60 operations like this, and they managed to dismantle, actually, the battalions in Jenin and Nablus, with Tulkarem battalion is the last one standing. But if you ask me whether if they actually dismantle the Tulkarem battalion, the attacks will stop, they will not, because the lone wolf attacks that we see over and over again will definitely continue, because that's the main challenge for the Israelis.
Now, after EU and US sanctions on Israeli settlers, there are now media reports that the US is planning to impose sanctions on an IDF battalion for alleged violations of international law. Can you tell us more?
Yes, well, according to the report, the U.S. will impose on Netzach Yehuda battalion. Now, the reason is that the battalion is involved in alleged human rights violations in the West Bank. This battalion is actually known for its questionable practices, to say the least, against Palestinians. In one incident, they left an 80-year-old American Palestinian man to die while handcuffed. That happened in the beginning of 2022. And something, of course, that triggered lots of backlash from Washington, because he is American and because of the incident itself. Now, the report was met, of course, with outrage in Israel. But it's interesting to hear the difference in the tone between the comments from the coalition and the opposition. While the far-right politicians like Ben-Gvir, like Smotrich, harshly condemned the possible sanctions, Labour Party leader Merav Michaeli, for example, said that the violent nature of Netzach Yehuda has been known for years, and the American move should be considered as a wake-up call for Israel.
Now let's also look at Rafah now. The latest Israeli airstrike there killed more than 20 people. That's according to Hamas. And Israel still wants to launch a ground offensive. What's going to happen to the civilian population then?
Yes, well, we heard Netanyahu in a statement today. He said in the coming days, the Israeli military will intensify its military and diplomatic pressure against Hamas, saying that this only a way to bring back the hostages, since Hamas has refused actually every ceasefire proposal. Now, we know that Netanyahu ordered the purchase of 40,000 tents for the civilians, but it's unclear where they will go. The only possible humanitarian zone will be Al-Mawasi, actually, something that, of course, the Israelis, after all, accepted that it will take lots of time and it will be very complicated.
The journalist Balig Sladeen in Tel Aviv, thank you.